right, welcome back to the Grace Family Love Podcast. We are here with you for episode number 17. We are checking in with you. I hope that everything is going well. And I'm here, this is Joe, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Vanessa.
Hello, everybody. I hope that you guys are having a great morning. So today when you will be listening to this, it's going to be Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving,
guys. Yeah. So we want to say first, thank you for everybody for your support, for the people that are chiming in through YouTube, through Facebook, through the Podbean, through every app that we have out there. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Especially we saw that we are now in New York. Somebody's listening to us from New York.
That's
so
right.
Yay!
Shout out to New York.
So if we had clapping hands, we would put clapping hands right now.
That's right. And shout out to Ontario, Canada. We're in Canada now.
Yay!
That's pretty awesome. So I feel like obligated now. Let's see if I can remember. So shout out to Colorado, to Georgia. Shout out to Virginia.
What?
Shout out to Arizona. Shout out, I think we were in Michigan. So I just really happy and really feel blessed to be able to reach out to people that are outside of our little bubble.
Yes, in Fresno, California. Yeah, it's a tiny little place.
And thank you to the new subscribers as well. We really appreciate you guys.
Yes.
That's what we're here for, to resonate with people, to put a message out that's positive and that actually has a positive impact. And I'm just grateful. So thank you guys for your support.
So we love you guys. God bless you guys. Yes. And we're just kind of checking in today with you guys. We heard some people were saying, man, I kind of just needed to hear that. So this week, kind of God's been just talking about that and just talking about growth. And one of the things that we wanted to just, the verse that kind of stuck out today was this verse that says, it's 1 Peter 5:7. And if you've heard this verse before, it probably, when you're kind of having a hard time, it kind of just hits you in the right spot. It says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you.
Yes.
So anxiety is a big word, and it's crazy to see people say like, oh, my kids have anxiety too. So let me just tell you something that I found out that I didn't know until I was having major anxiety. I read from a doctor. She's her name is Dr. Dr. Leaf. So she is a
neuroscientist.
Yes, neuroscientist. So she studies the brain and kind of like the function and how, like when people have PTSD, depression, anxiety, like all of those things. So she was telling us that when you have anxiety, it starts to shift your DNA, your actual DNA, and it starts embedding in it. So when you have kids, ta-da, guess what your kids have? Because your DNA is in your kids. So then your kids are struggling with this. So I also found out, check this out, that PTSD, depression, anxiety, it's not uncurable. So people that say, I have anxiety since I was born and it's never going to change. Don't say that, because it's not true. Yeah. And it's actually proven that you can change. Yeah. So let me tell you this. So when your brain every day, and God says, he has new mercy for us every day. So our brain is usually actually replacing itself and fixing itself every day, but you have to help it out. So it can't do something that you don't allow it to do. So your brain is like a program. Every day, your brain is going to be, if you're on a negative cycle, it's going to be negative, negative, negative for years after years after years, till you say, I had it, or stop, I don't want this anymore. Then you have to replace it with habits, with exercise. Kind of like, there's people that do Pilates and they're just kind of like, oh yeah, I do Pilates. But there's people that really do Pilates and, their body, you can tell they're healthier. It's a way of living. So the same thing happens when you actually start to change these habits. Good things start to happen. And it happens to everybody. Do you remember when you ended up going to the hospital? Can you tell them a little bit about that?
Which time?
Remember when you were just like, I don't feel good?
Oh, yeah. So there was a time where I guess I was under a lot more stress than I thought I was. Mm-hmm. So I didn't realize it. And I'm used to just putting my head down, pushing through whatever the problem is, whatever the situation is. I'm constant. I just keep moving forward. I keep pushing no matter what obstacles are there. And that's a quality that has helped me and served me well in life.
He doesn't freak out, guys.
However, in this particular time, I remember I was kind of feeling like a little pain in my chest. And I thought, you know what? Nah, it's not a big deal. I'm pretty healthy generally. At the time, I was eating better. I was exercising a lot. So I was much better than I am now. Excuse me. But anyway, I remember sitting at the table with my boss, and we were kind of taking a break from training. And I said, you know what? I'm kind of feeling a little bit of tightness in my chest. And he just said, you know what? Go to the hospital right now. And I go, whoa, I don't think it's that serious. And he goes, you know what, man? He goes, I had a bad experience in my life. I almost died once. I don't care if I'm stubbing my toe. I'm going to the hospital. So I said, okay. So I went. I left work. I went to the hospital. I got checked out. Heart was great. Everything was great. And the nurse pulls me to the side and she said, hey, have you ever had anything traumatic happen lately? Is there a lot of stress going on at work? Are you feeling a little bit overwhelmed? And I just like, no, not that I can think of. And she's like, you know what? The doctor's going to go ahead and prescribe you some anxiety pills. And I go, oh, no, I'm fine. And she's like, well, you're here at the hospital.
You're not fine.
And I said, you know what? I'm good. I don't have that. She's like, well, this is what the doctor's prescribing. And I go, well, I think your doctor's got something wrong because I don't have anxiety. I don't have that. And so she's just like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and write the prescription, have him fill out the prescription anyway, and just have him sign it. I go, no, don't waste your time. I'm good. I don't need that. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye then. And so that was kind of the end of it, and I just left it at that. And it wasn't until I think I was on my way home and I thought, wow, I didn't react very well. I kind of overreacted on that one, but it made me think, okay, well, maybe I'm not handling things as well as I thought I was.
Yeah.
And my response to her kind of let me know that I wasn't handling things, because I usually don't react so quickly like that. But
yeah. So my point is that it doesn't matter who you are. Life gets to you. It gets to everybody. It just does. So when God comes and he tells you, cast all your anxieties on him because he cares, it's because it's this sense of weight that the world puts on, that work puts on, that family puts on, that relatives put on, that finances put on. It's just, this world is full of just things. It's just so much stuff going on every single day. It's 10:30. It's like probably 11 right now and we're recording this. So that's what I mean. And it's not because we couldn't record earlier. Actually, because we couldn't record earlier because we had other things that were going on, So that's what I mean. Like, you have to find time, to do all these things that, family, work, finances, like marriage, all of these things. And it can put a sense of stress on you.
Oh, yeah.
So if we don't, if we're not aware and if we don't kind of catch it and say, okay, what's causing this emotion? We allow our emotions to rule us and kind of just take control of our life.
Yep.
And just take control. I remember when I first came to church, my pastor would tell me, you know who your God is? And I would say like, yeah, I know who my God is. Like, hello. And he was just like, oh, no, you don't know who your God is. And I go, well, what do you mean? He's just like, God is a person that you kind of have up here and you just like almost worship. And you don't do anything without almost like consulting that God. And I go, well, I know who my God is. So he goes, let me show you something. So he turns me around and I see my face. And at that day I was like mad at Joe.
You're in front of the mirror?
Yeah. So he's just like, look at your face. And I'm just like, oh, dang, like I look grouchy. Like, and the thing is that I literally, like, my emotions were my God. Like, if I was mad, everybody was going to know it. If I was sad, everybody was going to know it. If
Facts.
And you will not take me out of that emotion. I'm like, no, I'm sad right now and I'm going to be sad until I want to, or till sadness says, okay, Vanessa, I think I'll let you go. Like, let's have a little break. I won't like let it go. I wouldn't. instead of saying like, no, you know what? I felt you. I'm okay. Like I did cry a little bit. I was upset, but it's time to just let it go and move on with my life and my day. But I know whoever made me mad that morning, I was going to be mad all day because I chose to.
Yeah, that's true. I remember the good old days. But thank God, you've grown since then.
Yeah.
And really what has been helping out a lot is that when you made the effort to change that, it gave me space and room to change too.
Right.
And so that I remember that very specifically. There was a time in our relationship where I sat down and I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing, because no matter what I do, it's wrong. I can be the best that I can be right now, and it's still not good enough.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because she didn't love me. It was because whatever she was going through at the moment, the stress, the anxiety, the frustration, maybe the disappointment that I wasn't meeting these standards that she had for me, all of that was not allowing her to let me have room to be me and figure out how to love her differently. Yeah. It was as soon as I made a mistake, it was like, oh, you're terrible. Oh, you're horrible. I made a mistake. I made the wrong choice. And it was just a lot of constant.
Yeah. Negativity.
Negativity. That's the best way to put it. So when one day I was like, you know what? No matter what happens, I'm going to love you. And so I just sat down and like, that's one thing that if you could use your stubbornness for the right reason, that would have been it for me. I was just like, I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. I don't care how you treat me. I'm going to love you no matter what. And she was just like, oh yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. I was like, what does that mean? We'll see. Like, man, I might sleep on the couch tonight. I don't have to sleep with one eye open. Man, it was weird. It was like, we'll see. And I was like, I wasn't challenging you like to prove me wrong that I can't love you no matter what.
Can you imagine that somebody's telling you that, like, I'm going to love you no matter what. And that even makes you mad. Like, come on, guys. Like, what the heck is wrong with me?
I'm like, who is this psycho lady? And so it was trippy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, I had to kind of like put my poker face on, but on the inside, I was like, oh, what's going on here? So I stuck to my guns and I was like, nope, I'm going to love you no matter what. And really, she turned it up because the next challenge. 2 or 3 days, man, she had me crying. She was like stressing me out and giving me the worst time. Like I could do no right.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
And, well, what happened is that when we broke through that and she started growing, okay, that moment for me was a growth moment in and of itself. Yeah. Because before I didn't even care that much to have that type of dedication or commitment to want to love somebody through the worst of times. Yeah. And so
his nickname was the Jerk. So you can just put 2 and 2 together. He didn't know that, but that was his nickname. So Jerk would not be nice to you.
That's funny. Yeah, but I was, so that's why it's funny. Anyway, so I'm really grateful that we had a breakthrough. Yeah. Because sometimes it just takes a breakdown to have a breakthrough. Yeah. And so I just committed myself. I didn't commit to being the perfect husband. I didn't commit to solving all her problems. Yeah. I just committed to one thing. I'm going to be nice to you no matter what. I'm going to love you no matter what. And so she just put me through the ringer. And all I could remember is like, maybe a little bit out of pride too. Like, you're not going to prove me wrong. And seriously. So a little bit of pride, probably a lot of pride, and just wanting to change, wanting it to be different, to be better. And so as she pushed my buttons and as she pushed me, emotionally, I'm just like, I already said it. It came out of my mouth. I'm not going to let her prove me wrong.
This is Army guy. Like he's not going to go down.
That's right. Not without a fight. And we made it through. And so now here we are. We're not causing each other as much conflict. Yeah. Like I'm not imposing my will over her, or she's not, just pushing my buttons on purpose and those kinds of things. But what's happening is if we're not careful, especially in this holiday season, the stress, the anxiety. And like she said in the beginning, these self-imposed, self-put on kind of things that we're just wearing.
Yeah.
And it tears us down and it beats us up. And before you know it, it's like, we're supposed to be like the happiest time on earth, right now, or the happiest moments. We're supposed to be thinking about all the reasons why we're grateful.
And it's like, did you put the turkey out? Why did you put the turkey out?
Yeah, with that scary face too. And it's seriously, you suck the joy out of like the most joyous times of the year. And there's so many things, right? There are these like 4 main things that cause divorce. Okay. And so everybody knows them, I hope, or at least experience it in some form or fashion. Not that I hope you experience it, but I hope you're aware of what those things are. So you got money, right? Family, religion. And some people say communication. And even though that is one that's very important, I don't think that it's one of the main 4. So it's, say it again. So money, help me out, religion, family, and there's one more. Why am I forgetting it right now?
I don't know. I can't remember. It's not sex, is it? No, it's not sex.
Yeah, that's it. So, see, she said it. So that right there are the main 4 things. And if you think about during this holiday season, you're going to spend money.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, maybe 99.9.
Family is definitely
causes issues because we're not in agreement about how much we should spend.
Yeah.
We're not in agreement about how much is available to spend. We're not in agreement about who knows, but it's surrounding gifts. In our case, we have a blended family, and it could get really ugly if there's a perception of, why are you buying your kids, right? All of a sudden we start using these really divisive words. Like, why are you buying your kids better
family
gifts than my kids? Or where are we going to go for the holidays? Why we got to go see your family? Why can't we see my family?
Yeah.
And so it creates a lot of conflict, right? So when that's happening, sex life is it's going down. Okay, so all the things that cause divorce, I mean, during the holiday season, if we're not careful and doing it right, we're hating all of them.
Yeah.
And we're fighting and we're struggling. And it's like, for what?
Yeah.
For what? And so all this buildup, all this anxiety, all these issues over things, in my personal opinion now, that don't even mean anything.
Yeah, it's true.
So sometimes, we're, and who you are and those family members that you have, sometimes you're never going to do enough to please certain people. Mm-hmm. The gifts that you get are never going to be enough. So why waste the time and the effort to try and please people that maybe you only see them once a year, twice a year? Why so much anxiety? Why so much pressure put over yourself for people that don't even appreciate you for who you are?
It's true. I posted something in my stories today, and I was just saying that because like today Lily woke up at 2:00, like in the 2:00
in the afternoon.
Yeah, in the afternoon. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I laid there with her because she was like on me, and I was like watching TV. I read. I was just hanging out, and then so I posted something in my stories, and I said I wasn't stressing out. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. It's the first Thanksgiving that I'm just like, man, it's no stress, and somebody said that my kids are probably happy, like as soon as Thanksgiving comes, they're just like, oh, holidays, here comes my mom or my dad. Like, everybody's fighting, everybody's grouchy. Like, and it made me laugh because somebody posted, well, it's just because we care that we stress. And I started laughing because I'm like, can you imagine if you tell your kids, like, it's because I care that I have anxiety and I'm stressing? They're probably going to say, then just don't care. Like, I'd rather you be happy than don't care. You know what I mean? Like, who cares if you give Little Caesars $5 pizza and not make turkey, as long as you're happy, you know? Right. But it's like, it really is true. Like, we put on this like show, and then we put this anxiety on us, and we add and we add and we add, when we literally have the choice to control what we keep putting on ourselves, or what emotions we keep putting on ourselves. So I heard this really cool thing where he was saying that when you want to grow, okay, and you want to change your life or your way of being, you have to figure out what are the habits, that are kind of just choking the life out of you. And he said it like this, he says, you need to figure out when you're feeling these negative emotions, figure out what the vice is. So when I was talking to Joe earlier, he's like explaining what a vice is and how it holds on, like the actual
the tool.
The tool that actually holds on. And if you think about it, when we have anxiety, it's just like that. It's like a thing that just is choking you and holding on to you and does not want to let go. And depression, it's the same thing. It's this thing that literally wants to choke the life out of you. So you have the ability to just replace the vice with a virtue. And it to me, this is why I thought it was interesting, because this is a secular guy. So when you think about virtues, they're basically the fruit of the Spirit. And what is the fruit of the Spirit? That's not secular. That actually comes from God. And you have patience, and you have kindness, and you have, what is the other ones?
Love,
joy.
Peace.
Like, those are all virtues. And they come from one source, and they come from God.
Amen.
So if you think about replacing these vice with a virtue, it's not that it's just this word. It's actually replacing it with something that has to do with God, with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And it has to do with what God can give you. But if you're not connecting to the source, then you don't have those. It's really difficult for you to like manifest them or make them up.
Yep.
Because you need to go to the source, that one that gives it.
That's right. And that's a great point. I do appreciate positivity. I appreciate a positive mindset.
Yeah.
The most important part to me when I'm trying to keep my mind in a positive state is exactly what you just said, is connecting to the source. And too many times I think with today's with a lot of the culture today, it's all about good vibes.
Yeah.
It's all
good
about
juju.
Yeah. And I get it, you know, because we need something to hold on to, and it feels good. It feels right. It gives the appearance of, I want to put out into the universe these good vibes and these good things so that the universe will give back to me. The reality, the bottom line is that's just straight up God 101.
Yeah.
You reap what you sow. You're going to get back what you put out. You're going to be able to manifest, right?
Yeah.
But we are not creators. We cannot create something from nothing. That's God. Okay. God is the only one that can actually create something from nothing. So we can be creative. We can really be like, let's say somebody who's artistic, take an idea that has no texture and no presence and bring it to life through paint or art, you know, those kinds of things. We can be creative, but God is the only one that can actually bring something into existence from nothing. Yeah. So when we talk about a manifestation, it's not just think, believe, achieve, you know, it sounds great, you know, and pulling out the champion inside of you. Like those things are great. And I understand the concept, but we can't get it twisted and think that we could do those things effectively without connecting with the source. So we can try and be positive, but we only have so much that we can tolerate before we break down. Yeah. And we are designed to have a relationship with God and understand that I'm weak. My body wears out. I get tired. I'm going to grow older. And the older I get, my body's going to change. I'm not going to be able to do the things that I need to do. Yeah. Okay. The same thing spiritually. If I'm not connected with God, I'm going to get weak. I'm going to wear down. Life is going to get the best of me. And I could be very positive. I could always try to look for the good in things and in situations. At some point, my patience is going to wear thin and somebody's going to be on my last nerve. And so, I mean, it happened the other day, you know, with that guy, some guy had the nerve to tell me like, just talking smack about me, about my family. And I don't even know this guy. So I'm just like, you know what, sir? I think you're going to have to leave because you're being disrespectful. And man, that right there was a challenge because I hadn't been challenged that way in a very long time. So it was a good chance to see what's inside of me and what was going to come out. Thank God I handled it graciously because just a couple years ago it would not have been so.
No.
So that shows
I would
me,
have been getting him out of jail, guys.
and that's a good point, right? Had I not stayed connected to the source, that
Yeah.
probably would have been the outcome.
Yeah.
But I'm connected. I have people that help hold me accountable. I have my wife that holds me accountable in a good way, right? I have God that is continuously pouring into me in different ways. 1, I read. 2, I worship. 3, I go to church and I get fed, so to speak, right? I get the message. I get a word that's given to me that edifies and that builds me up. Sometimes it's correction. Sometimes it's conviction that I feel. Sometimes it's God telling me, hey, I know you're doing something for me. I can use a little bit more. Keep pushing yourself. Keep growing. Keep changing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's me helping somebody else out. And in the process, I'm blessed because I'm giving my time, my effort, my love, affection to help build somebody else up. And those are the things that really, really help us out. And sometimes we miss out on the blessing that it is to give and to help by being too busy. If I get too busy and too caught up in me, I'm not interested in helping other people because I always feel like I'm just trying to figure out life for myself, or I'm trying to get me right, or I'm trying to put myself together. And I get it. And there's a time for that. All I'm saying is don't miss out by forgetting to serve others, even if it's just your spouse.
Yeah.
See what changes in the eyes of your spouse when you do something loving to serve them, to help solve a problem, or to help. They have a to-do list. Knock off a couple of things off their to-do list.
Those are important, guys. Those are so important.
And see the look that you get in their eyes and how much that means to them, and see how it blesses you to know that, man, I contributed to that.
Yeah.
I brought joy I brought happiness to my spouse, and see how that fills you with happiness, and God puts joy in your heart because of that. And so all of that is a very good way to counteract anxiety, depression, loneliness, bitterness, frustration. Because when you are doing good for others, man, God just starts moving in your heart and filling your heart with things that maybe you have been so disconnected that you haven't felt in a long time. Maybe you're isolating yourself because you just feel down. You're worried with this lockdown stuff and the pandemic going on. You're doing your best to be aware and conscious of social distancing. You're trying to stay home every day, but maybe this pandemic has shut down your business and that's your source of income. And so it's easy to just shut yourself in and say, man, I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. And here comes the stress. Here comes the anxiety. But if you can just get back to the source, hold on to God and his promises, and don't forget, you have a wonderful partner with you. For those that are married or you have children, you got people around you that love you for who you are, just the way you are. And that's powerful. We can't miss out on the wonderful things that can happen in those situations.
Anxiety is kind of like, have you ever seen the targets, like where you just see this black dot and there's like a big circle around it? So anxiety is kind of like when you look at that black dot and you don't move or see anything else other than that black dot. You're focused on that black dot. But if you kind of like go back out and then you look on the outer rim, you see that black dot is actually very small compared to the outside. So when we're focusing on the thing that's causing us anxiety, it's very hard to feel like there is life outside of that, but there actually is. So the way that we can be able to figure out that there is life outside of that is, I want you to do this exercise this week when you're having anxiety. I want you to not just say, oh, it's my anxiety, it's acting up. Okay, why is it acting up? Why is your body, and I want you to always think about it this way. When you start having anxiety, it's a way of your body saying, warning, warning, there is something wrong. We are thinking about something wrong. We are constantly thinking about this negative thing. We need to solve it. We need to fix it. It's a warning sign. We were created to think positive. We were created to have good things inside of us. When we eat junk food, and anxiety is like this, when we eat junk food, we feel sick to our stomach. When anxiety creeps into our body, it feels bad. It doesn't feel good. And it's your way of your body saying there's something inside of us we do not like, and it's in here. So what is in here that your body is not happy with? When you think about it, you say, okay, it's my business. It's my marriage. I want you to remember this verse where it says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares. God, I give you my marriage. I can't handle it. God, I give you my finances. I can't handle it. I don't know what's going to happen. God, I give you this. God, all of it. Throw it all to him and let it go. And practice by saying different things, thinking differently. But you need to start somewhere. But you need to be able to catch it and not just live with it and say, it's my anxiety, it's acting up. Oh, I'm having anxiety. Like the more you keep saying that and the more you just keep being okay with it, it's literally grabbing onto you tighter and tighter and tighter. Till there's going to be like spider webs all over it and you're just living with it, with your vice. Like, no, it's something that should not be there. And if you want to research it, go ahead. Be my guest. Please research it. Read that book, Dr. Leaf. It's called Switch on Your Brain. If you are dealing with anxiety, with depression, with PTSD, read that book. Because it's really going to help you. It helped me to kind of like wake up and say, wait, I don't have to live with anxiety? What? This is amazing, because I don't. And if you see me now, like there's times where I can say like, okay, my body is starting, I can feel the tightness in my chest. I start journaling. Okay, what's going on in my head? What is it that's keeping me or making me feel this way? I figure it out. I say, okay, God, this is not for me. I can't handle this. I give it to you. I have to make these choices because it is possible to change the way of the way that you are. It is possible. I'm proof right here. Yeah,
for sure. And I appreciate that you brought up that book. And why I think that book is so powerful as well is that she's faith-based. And so she takes her 30 plus years of study and experience and puts it into practical use for people that are not neuroscientists and allows you to understand the way your brain and your mind works in a different way. And she ties it together with biblical backing.
So it's neat. It's really neat.
So you're learning, right? And for me, it was something completely new. It was groundbreaking for me. And she tied it together with the Bible. And it was verses that I have read. It's verses that I thought I knew. And it taught me to see how God cares for us on such a deep level. There's so many layers that we just don't understand. And so her using her gift and her talent, and her knowledge, and allowing me to learn from her, it was pretty amazing. And if you're interested in that, I'll go ahead and put a link to that in the description below. But I encourage you to read it. And this is what I would leave you with, because we're checking in with you. Holidays, stress, anxiety, it's coming, right? And so that's the gift that we don't want to give to ourselves and our family members. All right. So what I would say is, in this can be found in that book, is a practice and that you can do to help you change your mindset. And this is what I might be kind of paraphrasing a little bit about what the book says, but this is how it helped me when I put it into practice. So it's an exercise you can do, and it kind of has to do with journaling. So if you already do that, then it'll be totally easy for you. So you take an emotion and you really hone in on one, okay? One emotion. And you think to yourself, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this way? And so you write down what the emotion is, and maybe it's sadness, okay? Write down sadness and you try to think, why am I feeling this way? And what it does is you take a minute or two, and you don't have to say it out loud or to anybody else. So your brain really goes really rapidly. So you start thinking of all the things that make you feel that way, and you write them down. And then after a couple of minutes, you write down, what does it make me feel about myself? Okay. So first I write down sadness, and then I might write, how does that make me feel? Or what makes me feel that way? Maybe I haven't been sleeping well. Okay. And so I write, haven't been sleeping well, don't feel good. And then I start saying, okay, oh, how does that make me feel? Well, I'm sad. I feel isolated. I feel like nobody likes me. I feel like I'm not enough. And then you take a step back. So now we're looking at about 5 minutes or so. And then you go back and you say, okay, what does God say about me? What does God say about sadness? What does God say about who he made me to be? And so what you do is you take those things and then you wrap it up and you go to the Bible and you say, okay, well, God said he's near the brokenhearted. God said that his strength is made perfect in my weakness. God says that I'm more than a conqueror. God says that he'll never leave me or forsake me. And so you start out with how you're feeling and you hone in on this emotion. You kind of write down what makes you feel that way, how it makes you feel about yourself, and then you end it with, what does God say about who he created you to be? And so the idea is that through this practice, you acknowledge a negative emotion because, like she said, it could just be a warning. Maybe we're doing something wrong. Maybe we're not on the right track and we need to kind of get back and get our focus right and really dig down and lean into God. And so by the end of this thing, okay, and this is something that you should do regularly. Yeah. So by the end of this thing, the emotions that I feel don't lead me into a negative, dark path. It redirects my attention and focus back to God. And then I'm reminded who he's called me to be, who he created me to be. And so at the end of this, I'm stronger. I'm closer to God. I have dominion over my emotions. My emotions don't rule me. And so now I can find a healthy, positive way of managing and handling my emotions. And man, for me, that was huge. And so even sometimes when I'm having a rough day or things are a little overwhelming at work or whatnot, I'll sit down, I'll get a sticky note, and I'll kind of just make little notes and kind of get myself back on track. I have one of those little pocket Bibles that I keep in my desk. And so I always have to keep myself in check. And we're never going to be there to the point where we're not going to need the support. Yeah.
And we were made to need it. And that's the thing. That's why we keep going back into these deep pits, because we need God. And one of the things that I want you to remember, what the exercise that he's talking about, God says, be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And that's why he says that, because we need to continue to replace the negative with positive. And if you think about what God is offering, God is positivity. If you think about what this world offers and what Satan offers, it's negativity. It's self-doubt, it's self-loathe, it's hatred, it's anger, it's depression, it's anxiety, it's everything to suffocate you. What God does is he gives you things to prosper, to be joy, to have joy in your life, to be blessed, to be spiritually full, all of these great things. So when you are off balance and your body is made to hold these things close, but when you start holding on to these things and these things start wearing down, there's something that's happening to our body. And that's the part where the anxiety comes, and anxiety turns into depression because your body can no longer take it. So that's why you need to remember that, to say, okay, I need to put these things down and I need to reach for these things. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So practice that this week, guys. We love you guys. God bless you guys. We're going to say a quick prayer real quick. And then we hope that you enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we're just really happy and blessed to have you guys in our lives, and we just want you to know that. My turn?
Yep, your turn.
Okay. God, we just come before you, one, to just thank you for our Grace Family Love family, and for each and every one of them. I just ask that in this moment, as they're just, getting ready for their Thanksgiving, as they're, getting ready to celebrate family, I just ask that their heart of gratitude is the one that shows no anger, no anxiety, no sadness, no bitterness, but just joy and peace and love. I ask that you just be able to fill their house with unity, with your peace, with your love. Help them to just be able to love harder, love stronger today, to be able to hug more and to be able to kiss their loved ones, and help just your love to be the one that conquers today and to come over just their whole entire day. I ask that if they are dealing with anxiety in this moment, that you just remove it from their heart, that you replace it with just the ability for them to know that you are near them, and that the more hurt they are, that the more sad they are, that you are going to be there to help them to get out of that, so that they can know that they can trust you at all times. We bless them. We just ask that you just help them to have a great day today. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bye,
God bless
guys.
you. We love you.